We're now going to look at creating an orthographic projection from your design. To do that, you can either go to File here and then go to New Drawing from Design, or you can select it here. Same thing. When you've done that, it will come up with a window on the side. The first option is a full assembly or not. We want to do a full assembly, otherwise we can choose which components we want to do a drawing of. Not really applicable in this case. If you're doing something like a car, you could have a look at maybe just doing the engine or a seat. We also want to make sure that the units is in millimeters, and the standard that we're going to use is ASME. ASME is the closest to the British Standards dimensioning that we've done earlier. And click OK. Depending on the complexity of your drawing, it'll take a little while for it to open up a new tab at the top, and you should end up with a page looking like so. You'll now see that your cursor has changed from being just a cursor, and it's got your camera. We want to select this to be the front view. If it's not looking like the front of your camera, you go over here to where it says orientation, and you can select a different view to make sure you can see the front of your camera. That just depends on the way that you drew it at the start. Mine is like the front, so I can select that there. However, the scale I think can be improved. I'm going to select a scale of 1 to 2. Depending on the size of your camera, obviously, you can change that. I'm then going to do a third angle orthographic drawing, so I need to have the front of my camera just there. When you're finished, press OK, and you've got an outline drawing of your camera. As you can see, it's not going to put any decals on because that's not a critical thing at this point. We're then going to do a projected view. So you go up here to projected view, click it, and select the thing that you want to project. And simply by moving up your cursor to the left and to the right and clicking, you can get your different viewpoints. You could also have, if you wanted to, your 3D isometric viewpoint. When you're finished, hit return, and you've got your different viewpoints. What you might want to do on this third angle one, this isometric one, sorry, is you might want to edit the view of this. Okay, you do that by right-clicking and edit view. If it doesn't come up, then you can just left-click as well. And then you've got a few options. So I might want to select mine to be shaded. If you select it to be shaded, it basically adds colour to it, and then you've got things like your decals if you want them. Okay. All right. If we zoom in then, if you remember back to our orthographic drawing, the other things that we need are the dimensions and the sizes on there. So to do that, it's usually pretty simple. You've got a dimensions button. And selecting that dimensions button, you need to select some of the main parts of your camera. You click, drag it out, and it will simply put it in the right place. So you can see that the viewpoint is how we want, but the actual information itself, the arrows and the leader lines and things, aren't quite what we use for the British Standards dimensioning, but it's close enough, it'll be fine. Okay, if you've got something like a diameter, then again you do it in a similar way. You just click it, it will recognise it being a circular object and give it as a diameter like so. If you would rather do a radius, then you can select radius and it will do it in a similar kind of way. So the radius is usually what we do for corners if you've got any curved parts like so. Okay? So you need to decide which parts are going to be the most important measurements, and you need to start to put on some of the dimensions for your orthographic drawing. You've also got, if you're quite keen and you think you can do this, then we've got things like the centerline dot dash dimensions as well, so you could do any centerline parts on there. Okay. One other thing, if you go back to your drawing and you edit something, so let's say that we inserted a new object up front. In fact, let's put a flash on. So say we had something like a flash. Like so. If you go back to your drawing, it can update it. All you need to do first is, if you go to this tab, I've made that change, so I need to hit save. That's now saved in my design. If I go back to my drawing tab, it should come up with a warning to say that something's changed. And you'll also notice that at the top here you've got like a little hazard sign. If you select that and give it a few seconds, it should then update it with the flash and the different parts of your drawings. So if you make any changes, you don't have to update it each time. You can simply save it, go back to it, hit OK, and then it can update it in that way. Okay? The final bit, if you want to, again, there's an option to do detail views. So if there's something that's particularly vital to look at on your camera, you can select individual parts and you can do kind of like zoom in parts of those aspects. Okay? Most of the time for what we're doing it might not be particularly useful, but it's there if you want to do it. And then also you've got an option here where you can change the settings and you can change the text in your title block. Okay? When you've finished it, you output it as a PDF, save it in the normal way onto your computer, and then later on we can insert it into your Google Slides or into your presentation that you're going to do. The only thing you might have to do is just change it from a PDF into something like a PNG or a JPEG. If you're not sure how to do it, ask one of your friends, ask your teacher, and good luck.